Hi guys, here's another video, and this time it's about the use of the computer monitor that we were talking about. Now, I keep telling you that computer monitors are multifunctional devices, or rather, when I buy a product, I try to make sure that it is as multifunctional as possible. Cost is a very big issue for a solo entrepreneur, and we always want to have stuff that is cost effective and worthwhile, right? Now, computer monitors are very worthwhile, especially for designers like us, because we need the screen space. We need to have our screen help us, all right? Now, right now you're using laptops and you're using a small little screen and you're working on small projects, and that is fine. But over time, you will soon realize that your projects are going to get really complex, really big, and you will need to have multiple documents open at the same time, especially if you are, let's say, editing a video and then you need to access a script, right? The video software would be Premiere Pro, the script would be in Microsoft Word, then you'll need to have Photoshop open so that you can color correct some images, you will need to have the browser open so that you can access information. So yeah, one screen will not work, all right? In fact, as I get older and my eyesight gets worse, I find that 3 screens are the absolute minimum that I need right now. Okay? But for you guys, I would seriously recommend getting a second monitor, because a lot of you are using your laptops to edit stuff. And your laptops, you're not buying the big size laptops like the 17 inches. You're buying the 13, 14 and 15 inch screens. Now I know that cost is a big deciding factor for you, and that's fine. But if you do have a small laptop and you want to get the best performance out of it, and when I say performance, I don't mean the laptop performance, I mean your performance, then you need to get a second monitor. Now that monitor up here was the monitor that I purchased for 50 ringgit. I found a hairline crack and I negotiated the price down. Good news! I started the monitor today, I plugged it in, I turned it on, the crack has disappeared. Now, that's new to me. I've been in this business for a long time. I've never had a screen crack disappear. So that's something that I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to find out why. But the good news is I now have a fully working monitor for 50 ringgit. Such is life. Sometimes fate bends in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. Okay? Right. So these two monitors are connected to this desktop PC over here, and they are both connected using different cables. This one is connected using the HDMI cable. I'll show you a HDMI cable. I've got to find it. Okay. Right, so this is a HDMI cable. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. And HDMI cables are the cables that we use to connect TV sets to your Astro or to your set-top boxes, and etc. etc. Chances are these are the cables that you will use on your laptop to connect to the TV. So it makes sense that if you want to buy a monitor, make sure that the monitor has the same port as your laptop. Alright, you don't want to buy a monitor and then realize that, oh no, I can't connect it to a laptop. Okay, now that is the first. You're wondering why I'm sinking, is because the chair is sinking. That's right, I'm back up again. Alright, so HDMI cables, that's option number 1. Now I'm going to show you another option that a lot of computer monitors have. Okay, so the second set of cables that you may find on your screen, especially if your screen is a slightly more affordable or a cheaper model, would be the VGA connectors, which is these blue colored cables over here. Alright, now the VGA cable was one of the first cables ever invented for computer screens. If you look carefully, it has a lot of pins in there, and each of those pins sends different signals to the screen. Okay, and because these were the very first cables for the very first monitors, there are certain limitations that these cables reach. All right, for example, these guys, very hard to push the resolution higher. They can only work up to a certain resolution. Okay, so by the way, if you're still lost as to what resolution means, It basically means the number of pixels or picture elements or dots on the screen, okay, width times height. So if your monitor is full HD, okay, that means the maximum number of pixels on this screen is 1920 or 1920 by 1080 pixels high. Okay, so if you buy a monitor and it says full HD, that's what it means, 1920 by 1080 pixels. Okay, if it is just normal HD, then it is 1280 pixels width by 720 pixels high. That is just normal HD. Okay, all the screens today work to those specifications, but computer screens are different. TV sets, yeah, these are the two settings for TV sets. That's fine. All right, but if you're buying a computer monitor, this resolution can go even higher, up to 2000, 3000, 4000, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Now, if you notice in the earlier videos, I didn't really talk about resolution that much, and the reason is actually for your benefit, okay? The higher the resolution, the more expensive the monitor, okay? Full HD monitors are about the cheapest monitors in the market today. A brand new monitor like that one, 380 ringgit. If you push the resolution higher to 4K, 2.5K, or even an 8K monitor, the price goes up into the thousands and sometimes even to the tens of thousands of ringgit. That's even way past the scope and budget of me. And I do this for a living. Okay? So instead of buying one monitor with a very high resolution, I would recommend that you get 3 monitors of a lower resolution and hook them up together. Alright? And right now, these 2 monitors are connected to this PC, and we are doing something called clone. It is in clone mode. That means monitor A shows the exact same thing as monitor B. That's in clone mode. Okay. Now to specify or to get into clone mode, I'm going to close this video. But I would like you to do, you know what? I'm actually going to change the screen orientation so you can have a look at what I'm doing. There you go. Okay, so to do clone mode, all you need to do is press on your keyboard Windows P key, and you will see these options on the right hand side of the screen. The first one says PC screen, the second one says duplicate, the third one says extend, and the fourth one says second only. So I'm going to explain what each of these things does. If you select PC screen, okay, give the computer a moment. The computer will now only show the information onto one screen, which is your screen A. In this case, it's this one. Okay? So that's the option for that. Now, the reason we do this is because, hang on, let me just adjust this. Okay. Now, the reason you have that option is because sometimes you are at a presentation and you've hooked up a projector to your laptop, and you don't want the public to see what you are doing. So you specify my screen only, and then you can surf manga, games, whatever you want. The public doesn't see what you're doing. If you select duplicate, like what I did just now, the projector and you would have the exact same content. And this is fantastic for presentations. Okay, I'm standing here with my laptop, and the other screen is facing the audience. So I'm talking, I'm doing my own nonsense, and you can see what I am doing. All right, so that would be duplicate. The one that we want, which is very important to us, is called extend. So let me show you what extend is. Okay, if I specify the third option here, which is at the bottom, and I click extend, there you go. The screen becomes connected side by side. Now, to understand what that means, I'm going to open up a video file. Okay. All right, now the video file is playing on this screen over here. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Now, if I grab this video file, move it around, and slide it to the right, you will see it automatically appear on the screen up there. I'm bringing it back again. This is not a very good position. Let me change it a bit. Yeah, that's better. Sorry. Okay, can you hear me? Good. All right, so I'm going to click this and I'm going to slide it to the right, and it slides to the monitor over there. Of course, that doesn't make much sense, right? This monitor is on the right. If I go to the right, it goes over there. What I need to do is rearrange the position of those monitors. Okay, so to do that, I need to right click on the desktop, select display settings. Can you want to see it? Yeah, come. Let's have a look. I'm going to bring you as close as possible to the screen so that you can see what I am pressing. All right, so I'm going to right click on the desktop, select display settings, and this window should appear. Now what I want you to do is I want you to press identify, and you will see a number on this screen and a number on the screen up there. Let me press it again. All right, you can see a 1 again, you can see a 1 over here, and you can see a 2 over there. Now that corresponds with the 1 and 2 over here. So if you don't like your placement of the screens, you can just click and drag the screen around like that. Okay, I'm going to click apply. I'm going to close this, and now if I take this window and I slide it to the left, ta-da, it goes to the monitor on the left. Okay, it's not rocket science. If you have played with your Windows settings before, you should know this. Okay, but this is important because when you start working with After Effects, Edge Animate, Flash, InDesign, you will want to split your software across 2 screens. Okay, if you've never tried it before and you're trying this for the first time and you split Adobe Premiere Pro across 2 screens, it's a revelation. You will never ever want to go back to 2 screens or to 1 screen again. Now with that said, if you have 3 screens and you split it and organize it in such a way, you will never want to leave that room again because it will be such a joy to behold. Okay? Right, so that's 2 screen splitting. Now that you don't have to move that around, learn how to play with that and organize that, we're going to go into the nitty-gritty about screen detail. So to learn more, we're going to right click, we're going to click display settings, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what those words mean. Okay, so again, like I said, I'm going to adjust the screen display so that you can see all the things. Right, so over here you've got orientation landscape, multiple displays, blah blah blah. This one is very cool. Over here you have an orientation called landscape. Now I don't know whether you realize this or not, but if I were doing desktop publishing, I actually have one of my monitors rotated in a vertical manner. Now a lot of customers came and they saw that and they said, wow, you do Instagram editing on that? I said, no. It's rotated because I do desktop publishing. All right, and when I rotate my screen vertically like that, and I set my resolution to 120 dpi, when I use InDesign and I create an A4 sheet or an A4 flyer and I put it at 100%, what is shown on the screen is exactly the same size as an actual sheet of paper. I can take an A4 paper and put it on the monitor and it would look exactly the same. It will be in perfect scale, and that is important to me, and it should be important to you. We call this final artwork check at 100% scale, otherwise known as FA checking at 100% scale. Now that's a topic that is kind of way advanced. I will get there for you one day, but for today I'm just going to tell you that the function of changing your orientation of your video from landscape to portrait is an important aspect. Okay guys, so don't freak out. Now the other thing that we want to have a look here is, of course, your multiple display settings. You can duplicate the display, extend the display, show only on 1, show only on 2. Now if you have 3 or more monitors connected to this display, you will have more things over here.
So do not panic. All these settings here will change based on the number of monitors you've got installed. By the way, these graphic cards on these machines are Quadro, NVIDIA Quadro graphic cards. They are workstation class graphic cards, $3,000 a piece. And because of that, these cards allow us to do 3 screen connections. In the industry, we call those a triple-headed graphics card or a triple header. Okay, you are not going to find that on your average consumer graphic card. You're not going to find that on your laptop screen. In the most case, you will be able to connect one additional monitor and make your screen a dual header. All right, so remember, more money you spend, the more features you have. Okay, moving on. Advanced display settings over here. If you click that, you are going to get access to one of the most important screens of all, and that is this one here, resolution. See that? So right now, if you buy a monitor that supports 1920 by 1080 pixels, it will show you here that that is the recommended setting. Okay? Now, what if I buy a monitor that can go up to 8K resolution and I plug it in? Is this number going to go up to 8K? Well, the answer, my friend, is yes and no. Okay? It will go up to a point that your graphic card can handle. Now remember, I told you that in the earlier videos, if you've watched the earlier videos, I told you that the VRAM size of your graphic card determines the size of your screen that you can go to. Well, that applies as well. If you have a graphic card that is very high specifications and you have a monitor that is very high specifications, then your system will go up to 8K, 4K, and 10K resolutions. Okay? Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people make this mistake. They buy a standard graphic card and then they go to the shop and the shop people tell them, you should buy this monitor, this TV set, this is 4K resolution, your artwork will be beautiful. They buy the monitor and then they come back, plug it in and realize that the system can't go to 4K. They've just wasted money. Fortunately for me, I buy the equipment from them at a loss. Yeah. If you make a mistake, you pay the price. Okay? So here's what I recommend to you. If you're using an average Joe graphic card on an average Joe laptop or even a PC, stick with the standard monitors, the cheapest monitors you can buy. All of them are full HD specifications, 1920 by 1080 pixels, and that is perfectly fine for what you are doing right now. Editing. You're editing in full HD mode. Okay? If you are editing in 4K, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think it's 4K. You think it's 4K, the video file that you imported into Premiere Pro is 4K, but when you send it out to a TV set, are you sure it's 4K? Double check. Your graphic card must be able to handle it. Your monitor must be able to handle it as well. Now guys, that's only the resolution aspect. We're not talking about color models or color modes yet. And I'm trying not to talk about that in this video. Okay? All I want you to do in this video is learn to connect the two things together, how to switch the screens around, how to extend the screens, and then how to change the resolution to match, which brings us to the next point. When you have two screens, it is always recommended that the two screens be identical. Steady, don't shake. Okay. All right. If you have one screen that's smaller and one screen that's bigger, your resolution is going to change for the smaller screen. If this is a 1920 or 1080 screen and that is a 4K screen, that 4K is going to drop to 1920 or 1080. Okay? Now you can specify different resolutions. I'm not saying you can't. You can. You can make that 4K. You can make that 1920 or 1080. But when you start sliding things across the screen from one to the other, you are going to put out your hair. See my hair no more already. No, I'm just kidding. All right? You want both of these screens, same resolution, same color depth, so that when you work, you can drag stuff from the left to the right and you will not be irritated like I used to be. Okay? All right, so now inside here, you will have other options. Okay, you will have color management, color calibration, display adapter properties, yada yada yada. We are not going to do that today. Too long, too complex, too boring. So to recap this final segment, learn how to connect your second monitor to your laptop or to your desktop. Use the right cable. Place them equal distance to each other at the same height. Make sure both of them have the same resolution settings, have the same color depth, and make sure that you set one of these screens as your main desktop. Okay? That's right, folks. You get to set which one appears, where the icons appear, the desktop icons appear. Okay? Remember to use extend mode. Extend mode makes two screens become one. If you use clone or duplicate, then two screens will have the same thing. Got it? And if you don't need the second screen and all you're doing is Microsoft Word, please feel free to turn off the second monitor and don't waste electricity. Just use one. Okay, now here's the fun part. You don't have to change your settings. Just turn that monitor off. This monitor becomes your main monitor. All right? Windows will set itself for you. The moment you turn the other monitor on, Windows goes back to extended mode. Got it? All right, quick introduction on the second point. In a while, I'll talk about some other features about monitors and other things as well. Till then, adios, take care.